Guys, what's good, everyone? Welcome to the late night talking show with me and my good friend B-Boy Menno. Everybody know him. Finally, I'm here in Rotterdam. Can you imagine? First time I met you was here in
In
Rotterdam
Rotterdam.
in 2005
That's
at IB.
crazy.
And you said it was your first international event?
That where I won one-on-one battle.
Oh, you enter.
Yeah.
How old was you back then?
I think I was like 16 or something, and I battled Satowi in the finals.
Yeah, I remember. All Polski Flavor were here. Were
Yeah,
also first time we met with them
yeah,
at IB, and since then we were like friends.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Then he invited me and Cisco to judge in Poland right after, and that's also how my judging career started. I started judging really young
At
somehow.
16?
Yeah, I was like
Yeah, that's
like
crazy.
young judging. Yeah.
Wow, that's a really early age.
I think when I judged, I was like 17, 18.
Okay.
But at the time when I won the IB, I was 16. Yeah.
Where are we right now? What is this place?
We had Studio Blue Breaks. It's my practice spot, my studio. We teach breaking classes here every day. We also have open practice every day. We try to bring back a real breaking community to Rotterdam. Of course, as a professional breaker myself, I'm very much in need for a space that's always available. But
So 24 hours you can come
yeah,
here?
yes.
Nice.
But I also feel the need to give back and to build on the place where I live. And Rotterdam used to be like the place for breaking in the Netherlands for a long time. But now it's like we have a couple guys that are still active, but I would say everybody that's still active with breaking in Rotterdam is like 30 plus for sure, like maybe towards 40 even, or in their late 20s, or they're like really kids, which is like my students are a big part of that. And then we have actually there's one younger b-boy. His name is Brandon. He's a guy to look out for. He's from Rotterdam and he has very good potential. He's dope.
But this one is not the place that you've been doing like OTB movements, right? Remember there was some sort
We
of
OTB movement was like a 5 minute walk from here. So I started my journey in the studio right across this one. That was we called it the studio. It didn't really have a name. We just called it the studio because I was not teaching there. It was more like a private place. And it was like two classrooms. One room was like atelier, and the other room was to practice. So one room to paint, one room to train.
I
But
think
it
I
was
was in
like
the studio.
yeah, it
And it
was
was
like a
long time
squatter
ago. Yeah,
place, you know,
long time
like
ago, yeah.
I could lose it anytime. It was a bit dirty,
Yeah,
a bit like old
yeah.
building.
I remember.
And then I had the opportunity to go to a bigger place, but it was also financially like a wild guess or like jump in the deep to do something like this. A lot of responsibility. I did it with Case, so my partner at the time, and he's into movement and jiu-jitsu and just teaching people how to use their body in the highest potential. But a partnership is not easy, you know. He had his program, I had my program. Sometimes our visions on how we see things was different, and also like money wise the rent was really high, and the space that we hoped to share was not really shareable. We had 2 floors, and then one floor was flooded with water all the time, and there was mold. So we were hoping to teach like 2 classes at the same time. That was not an option. So yeah, we stopped that. Case still in this building. He's at the highest floor, but we went separate ways. And now I'm here, and I feel very happy
No, it's really nice
to be
place.
here.
It's like the old, it's like a school back
Yeah,
before. Now it's a really like cultural
yeah,
place, yeah, like
yeah.
center. I always wanted to ask you one question, and maybe not only me, but many people.
Okay.
It's gonna be a little bit maybe heavy. What do you feel as a person, as an individual, every time when you're winning Red Bull and people from our community start to go wild and mad in the comments and like putting all this negativity into your life. It's happening many times.
Yeah,
Like 4 times you've been taking the belt, and
yeah.
4 times people like showing taking off their masks and start to show who they are. How you deal with this? How you feel?
Well, I feel the first two weren't so much. I mean, there's always people that think another person won, but the first two was like pretty much divided, but not like more to one side, or it wasn't so visible for me. Of course, there's some comments here and there, but like always, it's like whatever. And then the third one in India, that was the first one where I really felt like, oh, people make it a sport to hate on me, you know? Like, it can become somebody's passion to dislike you so much that it's like really keeping them busy. And I feel a bit sad for these people. It's definitely taking away a bit of the joy of a victory, but at the same time I can relate to them or like understand them, because I remember me when I was breaking for a couple years, and then Cisco was like, "This is the shit you need to watch," and he gave me like Swift Rock DVD and Skill Methods DVD, and I was like, "Swipe, Halo, chair freeze, what?" Like, couple simple phrases, you know. I was in the beginning, you know, I was into like the Texas era where they did all the big tricks. That was something that really caught my attention more, like my first years of breaking. And then when I saw this, it didn't hit me in the beginning. But then I saw the same footage 10 years later and I get like goosebumps and I feel the details in my whole body. And I remember also that I was not able to see it. And I know my style is it's not for the untrained eye, you know. So I can understand this part, but I don't understand why they make it so unhuman, you know. Like they make it so personal, you know. Like I was not judging, I was just competing, you know. So first of all, like if you want to bash somebody for my victory,
Yeah, go on.
don't go on me, go on the judges, you know.
Yeah.
But even for the judges, you know, I think people really need to humble themselves down and start to look beyond just a hype moment in a round, or beyond like the obvious things. The last one was really hardcore, but the last one I was kind of prepared already, because I knew like in India, like bro, like I was posting pictures with friends that are not even breaking, and people comment like "Killer Koya," or like "You're killing hip hop." Like they make actually text like this long, how I destroy hip hop, and like also like older guys from the Bronx and like from to Brazil, people telling like that they're gonna stab me if I don't give the belt to Kilakoya. Like the wildest things, bro, to my inbox. Like I was being stalked by haters for a time, and I was always pretty light with it. But then I also realized like, oh shit, my mom is reading all this stuff. And it made my mother more sad than me,
Of course, she's like
you know. So like,
feeling
so
it.
why they're like, why are they saying all these things about you, you know? And my wife was reading, I was like, I told them already, like, don't read this.
But also, I think that interesting moment in our community is that mostly those people who write these comments, they're really far away from understanding and everything. And unfortunately, those people who know what it's all about, they sometimes may be too lazy, or they think that you already know them and their opinion, and they're not writing anything.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that make the disbalance in the, like all these
Yeah, and I
commentaries.
get this. I
Yeah,
get this too. You know, I'm also not the guy that's always online
yeah,
saying everything. And I think the people that are really about the real stuff, they're not most of the time not the people that are like
yeah. They're not living.
online about
Yeah,
it. You know, you're one of the few people that I know that's like a purist of this dance, and that's really trying to like put it out online as well. You know, but it's like a rare case. You know, you have these people, they reviewing battles, and it's just horrendous. Like they have no I don't want to say no right to give their opinion because everybody has their right, but they don't have the vision. You know, there's this dude and he's watching battles and he's like everything, something nice happens and he counts it up and he's like watching, he's like,
But you
and
never know
then he's
what.
like, put it together and I'm like, okay.
But what it means? Like what exactly
I
counting?
guess like he gave points with his hands. If somebody does a nice round, he's like, "Oh, that's nice. That's worth 1 point. Oh, that's ooh,
That's 3 points. That's
yeah,
five. But yeah, it's okay. But it's really nice to hear your perspective. It's not for those people who do these comments, but I
yeah,
think it's for those people who probably experience in some way similar situations because it's not happening only with that with your battles,
yeah,
but it happens many times in other different battles where you can see obviously clear picture who won and they took the battle, but then in the comment section it starts to be like
yeah.
like fans attack like
But
something.
I also get messages of people that are like, "Yeah, I've been breaking for 5 years now, and the first 2 years, like I had no idea why I didn't understand what you were doing, but now." Or after they take a workshop or they see you break live in front of their eyes, they're like, "Holy shit, now I see what I didn't see before."
It's really interesting because I have also similar situation long time ago. One older b-boy from Ukraine, from Soul B crew,
Yeah.
his name is Kastet. His name was Kastet, Kastet Soul B. He gave me the video, or not him, but somebody. We watched the video Crumbs versus Benji. Remember this legendary
Yeah.
battle? I think it was in France, in Paris.
Yeah.
And I watched this video first time, and I was like, wow,
Smoked him.
Benji smoke Crumbs for
But when you
sure.
watch 20 years
Like,
back later,
yeah,
it's the opposite.
and then I came, to discuss it, and he asked me like, what do you think? I said, Benji smoke Crumbs easy. He's like, it's okay, yeah, but rewatch it later. I didn't understand what he, because I was like, I don't know, maybe 18 years,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah, yeah.
17 years. I was like, talking, talking. And then I rewatch, of course.
Yeah.
I even feel right now like this, goosebumps. And I was like, wow, he was right.
Yeah, yeah,
It was
yeah.
opposite, absolutely, because
Yeah.
Crumbs was like delivering insane
Yeah. This round
level.
where it went like
Yeah,
this to
with
the flare slow mo, that
details,
round was
rhythms,
insane.
flow, and everything. And when I rewatched it after the time, I was like,
It's not the same.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's absolutely agree with you that people need time to
And
go
and I
deeper
and
and
I am a
understand.
big lover of jazz. So like I feel also like my break is more like jazz. So
Which is also not for everybody, like in terms of music.
exactly,
Yeah.
when you put like maybe you need like to hear like a kind of blue first, then you get into it and then you go a step further. But if you hear this shit, like out of nowhere, it just sounds like like 1,000 sounds at the same time. But if your ear is trained, you go step by step, and you understand like how this music's like shapes to it, or if you see it live and you see the artist playing live and you see them like building up towards that point, then it's absolutely beautiful. But if you just serve it like this out of nowhere, like people cannot
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Yeah, they losing the idea, the essence of what is
Yeah,
happening. You have two kids right now
yeah.
and a wife, and I think to have a family like this and to be full-time b-boy is struggle in some way.
Yeah.
How you dealing with this from that perspective? Still keep going, still practicing, still delivering the level, and providing for kids and family.
I definitely feel like I'm always running in my life, especially with the studio. When I'm in the country, I'm here usually twice a day. The good thing is that my house is only like a 5-minute bike ride from here. So I don't really need to go far to reach this place. But I don't know. It's maybe it sounds weird, but I always had this feeling of like as long as I'm good in my breaking, the rest of my life flows as well. So if I feel like I'm in control in my breaking, I feel everything else around me is in balance somehow. But definitely a supportive partner that understands your situation is essential.
So she accepted like your lifestyle for
Yeah,
100%.
she accepted my lifestyle, but that doesn't mean it's easy for her, because it's still often very difficult for her in this era of like Olympics, where I was very focused on like trying to be the best at that moment that I could be. um, she basically paused her life so I can live my life fully, you know. And now, you know, like the stress or the tension is a little bit off. I can be a little bit more flexible, uh, and she can, you know, we bring it back more in balance. She's working again, but back then, like, she didn't work. Like, all the focus was around me, like dinner time, you know, eat at 5 because at 8 I want to practice and my food needed to
Yeah.
sink in. I need to eat healthy, and like everything was like tunnel vision, and I was also tensed, you know, and it's definitely not easy. But also, like, with my lifestyle, I really try to have my kids to grow up also in this lifestyle. So I just try to give them as much as possible, like, the feeling of community and music and bringing people together. A lot of my students, they're on the same school as my kids. So, you know, all the parents that bring the kids here, it kind of slowly becoming a community, and to show them the benefits of my lifestyle, because we created a wonderful group of people around us, around the studio, and everything somehow is linked with breaking. Travel wise, I try to keep it as easy as possible. I have to say sometimes it's like a chain reaction, or, you know, like, you go to China, and then right after you go to Japan or Korea, and it's like bomb 3 weeks. This happens, and it's very tough for all of us, for the whole family. But then it's financially worth it to do it, and that means I can take it more easy the weeks after. But normally I try to get my travels as much as like close as possible to the Netherlands. And the Netherlands is a good country for that, because we're like in the center of the world. So I travel the weekends, and I just try to stay as short as possible to go back and forth. And I try to bring the world to the studio, so my students and everybody that breaks here get the same exposure to breaking that I have with my connections. And you know, like, my kids wake up at 7, make their breakfast and make their lunchbox. My wife's bring them to school, or I bring them to school. Um, I pick them up from school. On the daytime, I do groceries, or I do like appointments, like networking, or like my email stuff. And then in the evening, I bring them to bed, mostly when I'm here. And then after I go practice from like 8 till 11, come back home 12 o'clock often, and repeat the next day. That's kind of my lifestyle. And I have to say, I also have a personal assistant, Arisha, and she's like, organizing my emails and, my agenda, and she's taking some weight off my shoulders. And I'm not gonna lie, I think if it was not for my personal assistant, I think I would have a burnout. Because at some point I was like trying to be at 3 places at the same time. I was like answering emails on my skateboard towards the studio, and then, you know, always in my head having this moment of like, oh wait, I need to go get back to this person, oh, but I need to do this first. And then, holy shit, like, just completely lose like a overview of everything, you know. And
Yeah.
now knowing, like, okay, she's checking my email, she's making appointments, bro, it's so
It's
much
good to
stress
have
away.
somebody like this.
Yeah, and it's so much, it's so worth it, you know. And this is something that helped me a lot. And I've been doing a lot of things out of my own power here, but I'm like slowly trying to build like a team of people that have the same mission, and create something beautiful locally. Because this travel thing it's a fucking cycle, you know. Like, this contract with Red Bull is probably one of the most beautiful things that happened in my life. Um, it gave me the dream life I could never dream of. And even they're supporting also my grow within this studio. They hook me up with the DJ deck, and they if I have ideas, they literally give wings to my ideas. But this travel life, if you want to stay in this level, that means when you're at home, you're practicing all out like a athlete, and then you're traveling. But when you travel and when you're not traveling, you need to train. But this is like a cycle because you're not really building something locally. And I realized this before like Corona time. Like, okay, I'm a world champion and yada yada yada, but nobody in the city here knows who I am
And
or what
nothing
I do,
happening in your
and
hometown, yeah?
nothing happening in my hometown. And then when Corona hit, that's when I opened OTB, a movement in this Corona time. And then from there, the grow of like community started. But even to build a class for breaking, like a dance school that does only breaking, I think everybody that has a dance school or a place that teaches breaking, besides maybe China or Japan or I don't know, knows it's very difficult to sell breaking classes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to schools. I'm doing like after school programs. I'm picking a kid up from daycare to bring him to his class to make it possible. Like we do every little bit we can in the field to support them. And then when there's a chance and you are here, want to share this with them and like tickle their stimulation every time, do events here to make stuff grow. Because it's really hard. It took me almost 3 years to build like one steady group. That's also because I'm traveling and I'm doing everything at the same time. But
Yeah. So when you travel, the studio is working or you have to close it?
it's working. We have like 4 floor managers, which are like volunteers. They practice too, but they can open the door to just the people I trust. I can open the door on my app from distance.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
sometime last time in South Africa, I'm like, oh, yo, yes, 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 opening up the door for people that come. But there's a couple people that can open and they can open the door. And of course, also Sam Delivery teach here. Shane teaches here when he can. Sis is teaching here. Little King is teaching here. So we have like a steady team of teachers, and yeah, we try to help out each other whenever we can.
So another question is about the crew. Hostel Kids is a huge history, like period of history uh, in Netherlands,
Yeah,
breaking history in Netherlands. You started the crew in 2005, so it's already 21 years of the crew. How
around,
it's
yeah.
going right now? Like who is active, who is not active, and do you see the development, the growing on the of the crew in the next couple years, like coming back strong, or maybe not?
Well, I think Hustle Kids, yeah, we started in 2000, 2004, 2005. Me and Cisco got down with Dev Talks around the same time. I have to mention always in Funky Styles because I feel Funky Styles is the roots of Hustle Kids. Funky Styles was one of the first legitimate crews from Tilburg, from my hometown. And in their era, like around like late 90s or mid 90s, 2000, they were one of the best crews from the Netherlands. You had at their era, you had Godskill's crew from Rotterdam, and then you had Funky Styles crew from Tilburg, and they will go like head to head, lightly beef always, like hard battles. And then at some point, like Funky Styles, everybody was getting older, serious life got up, and it was basically me, Cisco, Robin, Nicky, my 2 older cousins, were left still active from the crew. So we created a crew in a crew called Flow on Trees. And later we organized the event called Flow on Trees. And the code of our hometown was 013. So it's like flow one trees, but at the same time we float on trees, if you know what I mean. That
Okay.
was the word joke,
Yeah.
coming from the Netherlands and all that. We started traveling a bit, me and Cisco mainly, also with Dev Dogs. And then we were like, okay, we wanna like unite the people that are like left in my hometown and are more serious with breaking. So we also got Skafa, Naveen. I was in a crew earlier called Reservoir Dogs, later Bad Habits, and I was always still connected with Dark Child. So he came in, and that was kind of the first generation, the first base of Hustle Kids. Later, Rugged Solutions, and later Ruggeds came, and we got this like same vibe as God Skills Funky Styles, but
Competition, like, yeah,
maybe
like
maybe more extreme, like, you know. So we always battle, and I think we pushed a lot. And then there was also EXG at the time, so there was like three crews that were always like battle each other very hard. So now we have the newer generation. Um, the last two members is India and Aussie. I think with India it went very organic. She comes from the same city as James and Kid Colombia. She joined the Under My Wing project with me, and we start training like weekly, and we start building and connecting. And like her vibe, it was like she's just hustle kids, like no doubt about it, you know. And then Ozzy was with his crew, and I always felt a good connection with Ozzy. But his own crew was like they had like mixed style dancers, and he didn't really had a crew that would push him to do battles outside of the Netherlands, and we needed another man. And we already had a similar vibe to me, so that was the way Ozzy also joined us. So that was kind of a new air, a new breath in the crew. We did some battles, some competitions, but then Ozzy really hurt his knee. I think he's already more than a year. He cannot.
meniscus.
Yeah, he's only doing handstand stuff now. I think he's slowly coming back to breaking, but he was out of the battle thing for a long time. Still is. Cisco moved to Mexico, back and forth. Olympics, one-on-one, things became more one-on-one focused. People getting kids. I think in total we have like 15 or 16 children in our whole crew. We have like 10 or 11
You're
people, but
spreading.
very, very fruitful crew. Everybody has like two or three kids. So everybody is kind of busy with their family life and doing their thing. Spread out in different cities as well. So we have me and Shane. We in Rotterdam. We're close to India, who lives in The Hague. And then Ozzy is trying to move to Rotterdam, but he's also in Utrecht, which is also not so far. And then we have our part in Tilburg, and then Justin lives more near to Tilburg. So we practice a part of the crew that practice Wednesday in Tilburg, and there's a part of the crew that practice more here. And we try to like, to be honest, when we come together as a crew, we try to like organize it every now and then, and we drop like a date planner in the group, and we call it a reunion. It's, like,
How many times per
I
year?
one.
Then we can call it reunion for sure.
It's almost impossible also to have everybody there, but every now and then we just push it, and we just all come together, have some drinks together, break a little bit. But just to get everybody together is so difficult. It's like the Wu-Tang Clan is the Wu-Tang Clan. It doesn't make sense to make a new generation of the Wu-Tang Clan because how dope they can be on their own, it will never be
Yeah, of
the
course.
Wu-Tang Clan. So we cannot, not really in the need to push a new generation like that. I think everybody at some point they just do their things, but just still carry that back on their names. And like when I battle solo, I rep Hustle Kids. I still represent those people. But as a crew, the last thing we did was Shell Battle Pro. It was 2 years ago. We won. That was crazy. We didn't expect this. We normally we would do crew battles, and we will always lose because we were not prepared with routines.
Yeah.
And then we battled Korea in the final, and we didn't really have routines. And they had a lot of routines. They had so much that it was like
Didn't make sense.
Didn't
Yeah.
make sense, and we won. And we
Nice.
won, and we're like, huh?
You're like,
Yeah,
we're back,
we back,
reunion.
we back. So I hope we are able to do some of this like trips with each other more. Um, but it's not easy to keep this alive, and I think this also opens up an interesting subject. Is I think there's a need of new crews. Like I have my students here, and there's definitely some kids that I think they have very good potential. Like we could coach them and push them, and then as soon as they get good, also kids represent this name. But I would rather like have them create their own little crew. Think
New
about a
crew. Yeah,
name,
yeah, yeah.
create a new crew. That's why I'm so happy to see a crew like Cool Kids Mob, from Poland, or like Style Invaders, like young group together deciding do their own thing, and represent their style, and like all young together, like also like Tia, what was their crew name from Japan? Something with Tia's.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or thesis note or something. Okay.
Yeah, they were at Unbreakable, I think,
Yeah, and
this year.
when I see them, I'm like, ah, yeah, this is so dope to see new crews like that. Like, instead of like picking the two strongest and putting them in a well-known Japanese crew, like no, like build together and like time, like revolution, like new faces, new
Yeah, yeah,
crew.
yeah. I agree with this from one point for sure, but from other point, let's say from our experience of Roughneck Attack, we just took two new guys to our crew, Stimul and Raptor at Outbreak, and you know what happened? Really interesting insight that I have. I will share it right now. Their energy kind of make the reincarnation of our energy
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
who more grown up, and I would never try to do old routines that we had or try to recover them again
yeah,
with just by myself with Dan or with Pluto.
yeah,
No, no way. But they came and we went to Unbreakable. That was our first like
yeah. I saw you
trip,
guys.
and because of them they're like from YouTube showing me like, yo, we need to put this routine back, this routine that was dope, let's put
Yeah,
it back.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm like, these routines, I'm not sure I can do this anymore, but they push me
yeah, yeah,
and they
yeah.
give me this energy motivation, and I learn all these old routines again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Change it to their like kind of bodies and
yeah, yeah,
everything.
yeah, yeah.
And that was amazing.
That's
Like
dope.
they kind of made us feel young again and
Yeah,
passionate and
but those are two b-boys that already had their road, their like
yeah,
their first cruise. Like
kind of, yeah.
he was first with Lucy Sky's crew, right?
Navi
Navi
crew,
crew.
Raptor was there,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's not like from scratch,
Yeah, not from scratch,
you know.
definitely, definitely.
Like
And they're already not like really kids,
yeah,
kids. They're
yeah, yeah,
already in
yeah.
their 20s,
Yeah.
so they're kind of grown
Because I
up.
feel this one is very tricky. I see a lot of dance schools, or like hip hop schools, and they take the best talent of the school, put them together, make a talent class, teach them, give them a name, and they battle. What's your opinion on this?
I think it's not natural.
Right?
Yeah, it's not natural. The idea of the crew for me was always like this: it happens naturally, and people unite into something because of their common visions, understanding, maybe goals,
Yeah,
vibe, friendship. That was the idea of Roughneck Attack all the time for us.
yeah.
Friendship based on something
But
similar.
not like an older person that tells all the kids
Nah,
how to
nah.
break and put them together.
For me, it's
Because
not
at
working.
some point it's gonna crack, right?
Of
Or
course.
it's
I mean, at the beginning, kids they listen to somebody who control them, but then they become grown up,
yeah,
and they realize nothing connects them to each other. They were
yeah.
just dancing. So definitely, the crew should be naturally organized, but I don't know if it's possible nowadays.
Because this is super difficult. Like I would love my students, I would love to coach them and also coach them as a crew, but I really wanted I don't want to be the one
Like,
I,
okay, come here, let's do the crew, yeah?
yeah, you know, like I wanted like from their own like
If they come to you one day like, yo, our mentor coach, we decided to create the crew and then our name is like this.
yeah,
That
I'll
would
be
be,
super
you will be
happy.
like,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, it would be the good part. I understand, I totally understand this moment. When you practice, usually on a daily basis, you practice mostly by yourself or you have somebody who practicing with you?
Um, I do practice by myself sometimes, but mostly I practice with like three between let's say between 2 and 5 people on and off.
But you prefer to, you like the process of practicing when you alone and can be focused only on something, or you prefer better to share it with somebody?
I prefer to share it with somebody, but I prefer to share the practice with somebody that wants to exchange energy, not somebody that's just sitting on the other side of the room in his own corner
Yeah,
like this,
stretching. Yeah,
stretching, doing his stuff, and I'm like ciphering by myself.
I know that right now still a lot of people kind of practicing by themselves nowadays, especially in Corona times, and after this maybe it starts to become more often. Let's say, what can you recommend to people who have these
Bro,
like
like you
conditions?
can create so much, bro. When I practice by myself, it's only about creating, and I've been practicing a lot by myself as well, and I actually enjoy it. There's times in my old studio I would not tell people I go practice, so I have the room for myself. You know, because you can really focus and you roll around and find moves and really like to break high intensive, like do full rounds, hardcore. It don't make sense to push yourself in that way. Then I would rather just create maybe for like 1.5 or 2 hours straight, like experimental music, like do long, slow rounds, create in between, go very deep, and then after go to the gym and do some cardio exercise. But I would say if you break alone often, really, really just go on the creating part or on working on something very stiff, technical, and repeat it and do it like a workout. But just search also for those places where there's people breaking like this, because you need others people's energy
Exchange, yeah.
to exchange. When there's more people here and everybody's dancing like in and out, I feel so much energy compared to when I'm here by myself.
I practice alone by a lot.
I
That's
can
why.
tell by your footwork patterns.
Yeah, it's like what you said. Go like deep and like explore.
Because bro, the way when I see you teach and when I see all your footwork patterns, like no way you come up with that ciphering at
No,
practice.
not
Like
possible.
that needs some time,
Time
to
digging,
to
like,
really dig and
yeah,
try.
for sure.
And I think that's a problem. A lot of kids, they only practice when there's other kids, so they just go to practice and it's just boom boom boom. But it's so important to have both.
But for kids, it's hard to explain them how to practice alone. For them, right now, it's still like, hey, like maybe
Yeah, exploring.
after some time,
Yeah,
step by step, they might come with this idea when they already have something.
yeah,
But at the very beginning, can you imagine like one kid in the room, just what's
rolling
happening?
around.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you saying, me saying that when you're practicing alone, you can unlock a lot of things
For
that
sure.
not possible to unlock in the place packed with a lot of
Maybe
people.
with one more person, or two, and you can even exchange these ideas.
But what about, like many people asking and kind of struggling that they come alone and there is no motivation? How, like that kind of popular question. I'm not motivated to practice alone, or
I
I don't feel it.
I also hear this one in Corona time, like there's no battle, so I don't have nothing to train for. I think it's the same type of dancers. I'm like, I enjoy my breaking more when I'm off season than when I'm in battle season. that like sometimes I enjoy my breaking more when I'm injured than when I'm not injured. Because when I'm not injured, I might be training for a competition and I switch to athlete mode. But when I'm injured and then I'm not battling anyway, I'm in artist mode all the time and I enjoy it so much more and I still create limitless.
So the process from inside is the main motivator,
Of
right?
course, like I need to create like it's just itching to dance and let everything go, let all the stress and all the sorrows of the day, like dance it off, shake it off your body, and create and have fun and break and do a round and you don't remember what the hell you just did, but it's okay because you're gonna do another one,
Yeah.
you know?
Let's say when you're practicing alone, what music you prefer to play? Like you alone, 3 hours or 2 hours in the studio?
It really depends the mood. Sometimes I really like to practice footwork on like Latin funk or like salsa. I can practice on dub or on reggae. Sometimes I'm more in the mood for funk, or sometimes I'm more in like a boom bap mood, or jazz, or like experimental jazz or experimental music. It really depends what music is fresh for me because I try to find new music every day. So I just go on like the recent finds and I play them. But often I just bring records and I just play a full record and I just dance on that.
Not like a lot of mixtapes, yeah? Mostly just like
Never. I like to practice on albums too. Now sometimes I put in a group chat when we go practice. I put like all the options, like classic breaks or hip hop or Brazil or like Asian or Japanese music, Japanese jazz, Latin jazz, um, expert electronic, and dub, reggae, and I let people vote.
what
And
gonna
then,
play today?
yeah, what they want to hear at practice. And then when they vote, I go and I see and I go to my records and I pack like two
Wow.
suitcases of songs like this. And then that's the mood. And then we're like, all right, guys, we're starting in Turkey today. And I just go straight on Turkish records. And then we move to Iran. And then we go to the Middle East. And then, I guys, we arrived in India and
Nice.
crazy Indian sounds, and then we go to like Malaysia, and like I try to make like a journey, and I'm like playing and then running back, and my hand is shaking, so the needle sometimes is like because I'm practicing, but I need to switch the song, you know.
That's really amazing to hear it, and I think for people who gonna watch, it's should be really deep inside from your experience that the music plays super important role
Yeah,
in the way how you're gonna move, how the process within the practicing gonna happen,
yeah.
and what you're gonna feel.
And you need a sketch too, kind of like something that you know, like okay, I'm gonna. Sometimes it's just like brain off and just reacting to the music and move, and like sometimes it's like I do a solo show. I can put a song for example, Miles Davis has a couple songs. It's like 18 minutes, and I'm like, let's see if I can finish the whole track in one go. And I like do almost like an abstract theater show kind of vibe, and I build up and I build up and I see if I can make it. That's a way. Or I can be like, okay, I have this and this and this idea, and I'm just gonna try to work around it and come back to this idea in my round every time and see all the options that this movement has, and just experiment with it and film and watch back. And often I film and I come back home and everybody's sleeping already, and I take a hot bath and I edit like the video of my practice, you know, and then I watch it for the 20th time, and I'm like,
You
if
see,
I connect this with this one, another move that's like never finished or never been
yeah,
used, that's like a eureka moment, you know. And then the next day I go practice like
already with
already with like I finally gonna put this last piece of the puzzle to finish this movement, you know, and that's my motivation to practice.
So you record a lot as well, yeah, when you're practicing, like ideas and everything.
When I do ideas, yes, yeah, and I think it's really important. So I made this Instagram page. It's called the Movement Library, and I just put all my process and my ideas there, and it's on private. Nobody can see it. Just like maybe 3 friends following it.
So every time you can go there to check, yeah, like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
no,
Maybe when I fully stop competing, I put it in public.
nice,
So
nice.
people can watch.
I record a lot as well because I practice alone, but then I save it to my archive,
Yeah.
on my laptop. And the same as you said, after the practicing, washing,
Yeah, yeah,
or maybe drinking tea and editing
yeah, yeah,
actually
yeah.
pieces. I think that not enough
The
just to
edit,
watch.
yeah,
You
the
need to
edit
edit.
helps because
Yeah,
you cut and you see it slow and it helps
yeah.
so much.
You can see these patterns. You're like, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
can
yeah.
even sometimes edit the piece from the pieces, and you're
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
yeah, 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 yeah.
that's the one.
That's dope.
Pull, pull, pull. Nice move. So, how you see your development for the next 5 years? Your main goals, maybe some plans. Don't share everything because sometimes when you share a lot, it might not work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
but maybe some directions that you're working on for the next 5 years.
I think for the next 5 years, I still have a lot to grow in my dance, and I still think I have time to really develop in my breaking, like talking just about the dance. But obviously, the studio here, I really want to build more members, more classes, more kids. I think 5 years, the kids that break here now, they should be like around like old enough to practice by themselves in 5 years, and they should be old enough to join the free practice in the evening. And if the open practice in the evening at the studio is filled with students that started here as kids, that's a huge accomplishment for me,
Yeah.
because then they at some point they can start to teach and we will have layers of levels and ages. And I think that's one of the main goals, is just to run this place and have it exist.
And you're gonna keep it more just like breaking focused, or you still see some other styles here?
I mean, we have locking class. Seiji is giving locking class here, and we have a hip hop class for kids. Um, but I would love to keep the focus just on breaking.
Yeah.
But we have 2 different teachers, but their kids are breaking also, and they're in my class as well. So it's like a kind of like a family thing. But yeah, I hope to really be able to run this from just breaking, and ideally also not be depending on getting funding here and there, because now it's a hustle, you get something here, something there. Okay, it worked for this year. How are we going to do it next year? Who are we going to write to? And if you just have enough members and you can just pay it from your memberships,
Yeah, yeah,
that
it's
that
always better.
that would be amazing.
But now you're mostly dealing with some governmental like departments.
Yeah, not necessarily governmental, but like non-profit foundations that want to like support the youth. The area where this studio is Rotterdam South. I mean, walking through this neighborhood is like you're traveling the world, basically. There's so many different ethnicities and
Yeah, yeah.
and cultures and people.
I
And
saw it here when I
it's
was
it's
walking alive. It
it's
was,
like New York. It adds so much, like the different flavor, the different people, like different cultures mixing here. I think it's made for breaking to, like, it needs breaking. It made so much sense to have breaking here and not just at the more fancy places.
it makes
That's why I
sense.
love building here as well.
For sure, for sure. We're coming to the finish of this beautiful conversation. Maybe a couple words to everybody who is watching. Some wishes, or like what to focus on. Just couple recommendations. Simple, how you feel it.
I think focus, like never for this is for the people that begin, but also for the people that are in it for a longer time. Like, don't forget why you're dancing. You started because you liked it. You started for fun, and really keep the fun alive. Like, to break for this long of time. I mean, it's almost like you have a relationship with breaking. You need to have put some effort inside a relationship for it be able to work, for be able to like keep it fun. So I think keep the fun in the dance, keep digging into music, different dancers, different dance styles, movies, books, whatever. Like, always dig for new stuff, moves. Obviously, find the right people around you that make you feel good,
Yeah.
and share this with them. And if you're in a place where there's not these people, I mean, you have the beautiful opportunity to create this platform and make it happen for others, and plant a seed for this to be the beginning. Because like what might feel like a very small action for you at the time can change somebody else's life like that, you know. So keep spreading, breaking, keep enjoying it, and take it serious, but don't take it too serious.
Not too much. Don't overthink.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Thank you, Menno. Was good to talk to you. A little bit different directions, different questions, not only
Yeah.
breaking oriented. No. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.